And Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. Somebody said 5 porches. And these lay a great multitude of impotent folk, say impotent folk, of blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. Whosoever then first after the troubling of the water stepped in was made whole, said made whole, of whatever disease he had. And a certain man was there, which had an infirmity 38 years. That's a long time. At the pool. 38 years. When Jesus saw him lie, somebody said lie, and he knew that he had been now a long time in that case, he said unto him, wilt thou be made whole? The impotent man answered him, Sir, I have no man when the water is troubled to put me in the pool. But while I am coming, another step is down before me. I'm going to stop right there. Look at your neighbor, if you will, one more time and help me with this, please, ma'am and sir. And say, will thou be made whole? Be made whole. And bless you. Tonight, I want to talk to you about the happenings at the house of grace. How about that? The happenings at the house of grace. Before things can happen at the house of grace, Pastor, you first got to become the house of grace. Are y'all gonna help me tonight? In order to become the house of grace, you have first got to invoke his presence. Invoke his glory. And once you receive his glory and know that his glory is present, Sister Moore, you have to come to the conclusion then that you are in God's safety zone. But in God's safety zone, y'all, is his grace. And God's grace does not show up, y'all, for no reason at all. We got to understand tonight, Pastor Sanford, that God is not a God that wastes his time. Every time God shows up, my brothers and sisters, God shows up for a reason and a purpose. Oh, y'all ain't gonna help me tonight. And you must understand, my brothers and sisters, that you have been called out and called together as a part of the ecclesia in order to be an extension of God's grace. And if you can agree that you are an extension of God's grace, then whatever is happening in God's mind ought to be happening in your presence. Have I got a witness in this house? My brothers and sisters, too long we have come together and we have sung our songs, prayed our prayers, clapped our hands, did our dance, and spoken our tongues, went home the same way we came in. And it's a sad indictment, my brothers and sisters, for the church when people come to the church and leave many a times worse off than they did when they came in. Do I have a witness? We don't sing that song anymore, Pastor Sam, about when I laid my burden down. It's because oftentimes we come to church burdened and we leave burdened. Oh, y'all ain't helping me. That's because, y'all, we have not allowed God's grace to reign freely in the house. When I look at this passage, Pastor, and God began to deal with me about this passage, all I could see around that pool were so-called church folk who going around professing and claiming to be anointed of God. And here is a man that had been laying at the church for 38 years. He came there lame, and he stayed there lame for 38 years. And certainly, a certain time of the year, according to the word, the Spirit of God would show up at least once a year. That sounds like first chop of the refrigerator, doesn't it? Even in the most dead of churches and the most traditional church, in a church where you have the deeds in your pocket and you have the key in your hand, and you to make sure you had your preacher that you like put in the pulpit. In the pulpit, and every time you get ready to preach, you got to run a sermon by you. Even your church, the Lord, show up every now and then. So the record said that a certain time of the year, the angel will come down and trouble the water, and whoever got there first, that's who got the blessing. But like most of us, y'all, Jesus has at least visited us one time. Or at least one time he came by our place. And he saw the condition that we were in. Do I have a witness? And just like this man that was lying there, he asked us, wilt thou be made whole? This brother, y'all, was paralyzed. He was in a bad way. He couldn't walk. He didn't even have enough strength, y'all, to scoot down. Seemed like to me for 38 years he should have been able to at least scoot down by the water. And like some folk, you know, I know what time it usually when it comes. I won't get close enough that when it comes, I can at least stick my toe in. But like this brother, most of us, y'all, are cosmically paralyzed. We don't have enough strength to tap into what God is doing when God is moving. And oftentimes we get left behind. And when we get left behind, y'all, we spend our time complaining about somebody else got there first. I'm thoroughly convinced more than ever now about that some of our best church workers gonna bust hell. Oh, that's right, wide open. Put your foot back, y'all. I'm coming. I've been nice up until now. It's work time.